Radical self-trust involves maintaining faith in one's overall journey and capacity for growth, even during these challenging moments. The key is to acknowledge these emotions without participating in them, allowing them to pass rather than letting them dictate your decisions. This resilience allows one to persist without letting temporary difficulties define one's progress. C. The transformative impact of radical self-trust. The cultivation of radical self-trust is not merely an internal exercise, it is a dynamic process that creates a powerful feedback loop between inner knowing and aligned action. It begins with an act of faith, choosing to listen to one's intuition and inner wisdom. This leads to taking purposeful actions that are congruent with that inner knowing. When these actions lead to outcomes that feel aligned, authentic, or growth-promoting, the experience serves as powerful evidence that one's inner guidance system is reliable. This positive reinforcement strengthens the initial trust, making it easier to rely on intuition in the future. This iterative cycle, trusting, acting, learning, and reinforcing trust, is what builds a truly radical and resilient sense of self-reliance. This process has a comprehensive effect on all aspects of the life experience, transforming how one approaches decisions, relationships, and challenges. Ultimately, it empowers individuals to move through the world with greater authenticity, courage, and a clear sense that even in the face of fear or doubt, they are being guided toward a life that is truly their own. 3. The power of self-awareness, knowing myself. A. Defining self-awareness, an evolving process of introspection. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal growth and psychological maturity. It is the capacity for focused and clear introspection into the landscape of one's inner world and a conscious understanding of how that inner world influences one's outward behavior. A comprehensive definition describes it as having an understanding of your own thoughts, feelings, values, beliefs, and actions, which culminates in knowing who you are, what you want, how you feel, and why you do the things that you do. This definition highlights the breadth of self-awareness, encompassing cognitive, emotional, and motivational aspects of the self. Importantly, self-awareness is not a static achievement but a dynamic and continuous journey of discovery. Avolio and Gardner 2005 aptly characterize it as not a destination point, but rather an emerging process where one continually comes to understand his or her unique talents, strengths, sense of purpose, core values, beliefs and desires. This evolutionary process underscores that as individuals grow and experiences change, the practice of self-awareness must also adapt and deepen. Further refining this, the collaborative for academic, social, and emotional learning CASEL defines it as the abilities to understand one's own emotions, thoughts, and values and how they influence behavior across contexts. This definition crucially connects the internal state to external action, emphasizing the functional role of self-awareness in navigating life effectively. B. Key dimensions of self-awareness. Self-awareness can be understood as having several key dimensions that, together, create a holistic picture of the self. 1. Internal self-awareness. Internal classic form of introspection, involving the process of looking inward to gain clarity on one's private self-concept. It includes developing a clear understanding of one's core values, passions, aspirations, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, strengths, weaknesses, and sense of purpose. This internal clarity is what allows an individual to make choices that are authentically aligned with who they are. 2. External self-awareness. This dimension involves understanding oneself from the outside in, that is, knowing how one is perceived by others. This is not about conforming to others' expectations but about developing an accurate picture of one's impact on the world and on other people. It requires humility, openness, and the ability for honest and transparent introspection, not only to accept the feedback but also to act upon it when it is given. This social component is vital for effective communication and building strong relationships. 3. Emotional awareness. A critical subset of self-awareness is emotional awareness, which is the ability to accurately identify, understand, and manage one's own emotions. It involves recognizing how feelings influence thoughts and behaviors and serves as a foundational competency for emotional intelligence. Without emotional awareness, it is nearly impossible to regulate one's responses or to understand the motivations driving one's actions. C. The multifaceted benefits of cultivating self-awareness. The development of self-awareness yields a wide array of profound benefits that permeate nearly every aspect of life. Research and clinical observation consistently show that higher levels of self-awareness are associated with build circle enhanced emotional regulation. A clearer understanding of one's emotional landscape allows for better management of emotional responses. Build circle improved communication. Knowing one's own thoughts and feelings enables clearer, more intentional, and more effective communication with others. Build circle better decision-making. Self-aware individuals are better able to make choices that align with their long-term values and goals, rather than being swayed by fleeting impulses or external pressures. Build circle stronger relationships. Authenticity and a clear understanding of one's impact on others contribute to deeper, more meaningful, and healthier relationships. Build circle increased well-being. Self-awareness is linked to higher levels of happiness, life satisfaction, and overall confidence. Build circle professional growth. In the workplace, it fosters better leadership skills, higher job satisfaction, and the ability to work more effectively within a team. Build circle freedom from bias. It helps to free individuals from their own unexamined assumptions and biases, allowing for a more balanced and objective perspective. While self-awareness is fundamental, its cultivation is not without challenges. The The process of turning inward to honestly assess oneself, including one's flaws, painful emotions, and unhelpful patterns, can be uncomfortable or even distressing. If this clear seeing is met with a harsh, judgmental internal response, it can paradoxically lead to increased shame, anxiety, or self-criticism, a state more akin to debilitating self-consciousness than healthy self-awareness. It is not helpful to become aware of one's feelings only to respond in a self-judgmental way. This highlights a crucial dependency. For self-awareness to be a truly beneficial and sustainable practice, it must be accompanied by a compassionate internal stance. Self-compassion provides the psychological safety necessary to confront difficult truths about oneself without being overwhelmed, transforming potentially painful awareness into a constructive opportunity for healing and growth. IV. Embracing self-compassion, kindness in the face of suffering. A. Defining self-compassion, drive. Kristen Neff's seminal framework. Self-compassion is the practice of extending the same kindness, care, and concern to oneself during times of suffering that one would typically offer to a dear friend. Drive. Kristen Neff, a pioneering researcher who was the first to operationally define and measure the construct, is a leading authority in this field. Her work has established self-compassion as a powerful source of coping and resilience with profound benefits for mental and physical well-being. Neff defines self-compassion as consisting of three central, interacting components that create a self-compassionate mindset when facing perceived inadequacy, failure, or general life difficulties. 1. Self-kindness versus self-judgment. This is the most intuitive component of self-compassion. It involves being gentle, understanding, and supportive towards oneself when confronting pain or personal shortcomings, rather than being harshly self-critical or judgmental. Instead of attacking oneself with frustration and criticism, one responds with warmth, sympathy, and active soothing. It is the practice of treating oneself as one would treat a friend in need. 2. Common humanity versus isolation. This component involves recognizing that suffering and personal failure are an inescapable part of the shared human experience. Rather than feeling that one's struggles are isolating and unique, one common humanity frames these experiences within the broader context of human life. It fosters a sense of connection and belonging, reminding us that all people are imperfect and all people suffer. This perspective counters the tendency to feel separate and alone in our pain. 3. Mindfulness versus over-identification. In the context of self-compassion, mindfulness refers to holding one's painful thoughts and feelings in balanced awareness. It is the middle path between two extremes, suppressing painful emotions on one hand, and exaggerating or becoming completely consumed by them over-identification on the other. Mindfulness allows one to observe difficult internal experiences with a sense of openness and clarity, without being swept away by them. This creates the mental space needed to respond with kindness and perspective. B. The profound psychological benefits of self-compassion. A robust and growing body of research demonstrates that self-compassion is strongly linked to enhanced psychological well-being. The benefits are extensive and include filled circle reduced psychopathology. People who are kinder to themselves are significantly less likely to experience depression, anxiety, stress, and symptoms of PTSD.